Welcome to Money Talks, a weekly feature on FM 93.5 The Berg and WMEG AM 740. Today we will talk just a little bit about money, maybe some of the things you can do with it, how it can impact your life, some ideas on financial planning and investing, and getting the most out of the money you hope to have, already have, or want to pass down. So sit back, relax, listen, and maybe take some notes, as you may have some questions by the time we're done with this edition of Money Talks. Welcome, Dan Joss. Welcome back to Money Talks. How are you doing today?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. What do we want to talk about today?
Well, today we're going to talk about saving money.
Wait, let me go get my wife. Let me have her in the room for this, and my kids.
Well, the idea of saving is to spend less than you earn.
I like the sound of
that. And last week we talked about spending money, which is spending money on our lifestyle for today. And savings is essentially putting money into the future for your future self. So future saving, future spending.
Future spending, okay.
Right.
Which may not be my future spending.
Could be your children's future spending.
Or maybe my grandchildren.
Could be.
Not that I need any yet.
No, but there is a proverb that says, "There is desirable treasure and olive oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish person devours all he has."
Okay.
So the concept there is you probably shouldn't spend everything you have.
That's a good concept. Yeah.
A rule of thumb, what many advisors talk about is 3 to 6 months of cash need for emergency fund.
Okay.
I don't necessarily like that term, emergency fund. It kind of has a negative connotation, like something bad's going to happen, so you need to save up.
Okay.
And it is kind of a disincentive for us to save if we know that this money is set aside for something bad that will happen to us.
Okay.
But we have opportunities too, and only if you have a resource or a source of funds with which to draw can you sometimes take advantage of those opportunities.
You mean like an opportunity when the big flat screen TV that I've wanted comes on sale?
It could be. It could be a car. It could be.
But that's probably not an emergency, is it?
No, and that's why I combine the term emergency fund and opportunity fund to make a matter fund, because sometimes emergencies matter.
Right.
And sometimes opportunities matter.
Okay.
Either way, you need to have a source of funds available for those times.
A matter fund. Huh. That's very clever.
Well, it's worked for my clients. Now, that is not 3 to 6 months. It could be very big. If you're looking for an opportunity to buy a second home at the beach,
okay,
then you need to save a little more, and I'll combine savings and investing into this one section of spending less than we make.
Okay.
But then I have my clients consider what that could be. And that amount is different for everybody.
Right.
Some are comfortable with having a fund of a couple $1,000s. You know, if my refrigerator breaks and I need to replace it, that's a small amount. But a down payment on a second property or to pay cash for a new car or something big is a different amount.
Right. Okay. And maybe it's not even a down payment on a second property, but a down payment on a first property because maybe you're renting now and you want to develop that fund because owning your home, that certainly matters.
It does. And then what to do with that savings is a topic for another day. But having some money set aside for some unknown or potential expense in the future is a good thing to have.
Yeah, I would say so. Okay. Not everybody gets that idea, though.
Well, it takes discipline, and it takes a desire to do that. And that's why I lean towards the positive opportunity side, because if we do have something that we know we want to spend on in the future, then it motivates us to delay gratification of spending today, knowing that our future self will thank our present self in the future.
It's kind of like a financial diet.
It is.
It's passing up that bag of chips because you'd like to be able to wear those jeans next week.
Or next month.
Or next month. Okay.
Next year.
Next year. So you're passing up that immediate gratification of going and buying something now so that you can buy something that you really want later.
Yep. And that's a learned activity.
Okay.
Delayed gratification. It takes discipline. And sometimes a separate account helps to have it set aside and not in your working checking account, savings account, but kind of a goal account.
Right.
And if it's automatic, it's easier to do.
So if it automatically comes out of your check each month, and that's one of the nice things that Williamsburg has so many different banks. There are lots of nice community banks, and several of them will let you have free checking accounts as long as you've got some auto drafts and things like that set up. The paycheck automatically goes in there, and then it's set up that way. So banks, oddly enough, can be a big asset in this, a big help.
They do. I have a client that has 20 bank accounts. Not that I recommend it, but that's how his mind works.
Right.
And so he has an account for each goal and automatic drafts to that. And then when that goal is achieved, or whatever it is that they want to buy is ready, then you use those funds. You don't use your regular working funds, because that messes up the whole strategy.
And when you do it automatically, then that solves a lot of the self-discipline problem, because you needed the self-discipline to set it up, but then they're recurring every month. This self-discipline's already been set up.
Yep, it goes away. 10 or 15% to retirement for my future self, and 10% of my income to some undetermined amount of a matter fund.
Right.
Is a good place to start. And then when the opportunities come, it doesn't mean you have to spend the money on it. It's an opportunity, and you can take it or leave it.
Okay.
Another one may come along.
Well, good. All right. Well, this has been Greg Granger with Dan Joss of Joss Financial. Any parting words you want to share with the listeners?
Not today.
Not today. No parting words today. Phone number, all that good stuff?
757-903-2127.
All right. And that's going to cost them a whole lot to call you the first time?
No.
No. How much will it cost them to call you the first time?
Nothing the first time.
Nothing the first time. All right. Very good. Well, thank you very much, Dan Joss. Money Talks is a weekly program presented for the listener's benefit and entertainment. It is provided at no cost to the listener, and the ideas, opinions, and comments are not to be construed as legal advice, tax advice, investment advice, or other advice specific to the listener. Listeners are encouraged to seek the advice of a licensed professional or other qualified party when dealing with financial, legal, tax, medical, investment, insurance, taxidermy, plumbing, electrical, carpentry, real estate, chiropractic, veterinary, oral hygiene, hot air ballooning, etc. We have given you some food for thought. Now, call a licensed professional such as Dan Joss at 757-903-2127. Thanks for listening, and remember, failing to plan is planning to fail.